Hello, friends. Welcome to the 5th episode of Jeffrey Dahmer series. The last episode explained how Jeff's life was going on without doing any murder for 9 years, and in the end, him finally unleashing his inner cannibal outside by doing another brutal murder. Let's go to this 5th episode and see what all will Jeff do in his life ahead. A night, Jeff and grandmother was in their home. While washing utensils, grandmother asks Jeff, "Have you started doing night shift also?" Jeff is now working in a chocolate company and is doing night shifts more. Jeff says, "Yeah, Grandma, I don't have much work to do." Grandmother asks, "Then what job are you really doing there?" Jeff replies, "Just have to mix chocolate. Doesn't take so much time." Jeff then leaves for his work at the chocolate company. The next scene shows Jeff sitting in the chocolate company. While smoking, he notices a newspaper on the table having a photo of a handsome guy. The photo was of a rank holder student who died in an accident. Jeff started having feelings for him right away after he saw the boy's photo. The next day night, he went with a shovel to dig that guy's grave. As the boy's funeral was on that same day morning, Jeff knew that the body would haven't started decomposing. Jeff starts digging the soil over the boy's grave, but as it was too hard he refused to dig more. If the soil wasn't that hard to dig away, Jeff would have definitely had sex with that dead body. Jeff becomes sad as he couldn't do what he wanted to do. All these incidents are being told by Jeff to the FBI officers. Then the officer asks Jeff, "What was your actual intention behind killing Tuomi?" Jeff asks surprised, "Tuomi? Who is that?" The officer says, "Oh come on. Now you don't even remember the names of your victims. Your second murder. That boy whose head you hid in a box. Why did you really kill him? You killed him after 9 long years. Were there any other specific reason behind doing that murder?" Jeff replies, "That was a mistake. I had drugs that night. I can't even properly recall what really happened at that time." Officer says, "Jeff, you did a lot of other murders after Tuomi's, but didn't after Stevens. You controlled your feelings and emotions for 9 years. What made you commit more murders after Tuomi's? What was the reason behind your sudden change after Tuomi's murder?" Jeff says, "I started drinking too much. I would be always lonely, as I didn't have any friends. I started feeling bored because of my loneliness. After that, I started doing whatever that came to my mind. I changed a lot." In the next scene, Jeff is seen going to the pub. He meets some people there. Jeff brings every one of them to his home. He used to take them to bathhouse and hotels, but now he have started bringing them to his own home, because only then, he could peacefully chop them off. After that scene, the FBI officers asks him another question. "How many murders did you do at your grandmother's home?" Jeff replies, "I killed 3 people in that home, and chopped them in the underground basement, where grandmother never comes. I could do whatever I want there, without fearing anyone and anything." One day, grandmother sensed the foul smell from dead meat. Grandmother goes and searches for its source and finds that the smell is actually coming from the underground basement. Grandmother says it to Jeff. Jeff's plan was to go and pack the dead body parts in a cover to dump them in waste. Seeing the cover, grandmother asks Jeff, "What's all this?" Jeff replies, "I don't know. We never goes to clean there. The stink is from a lot of waste there." Then Jeff leaves from there. Grandmother couldn't believe Jeff completely and feels everything mysterious about Jeff. Then for a while, foul smell stopped spreading out. In the next scene, officer asks Jeff, "Did you do any kind of experiments with that bodies?" Jeff replies, "Yeah, I did. I kept some organs in acid. I cooked some. I did everything I feel like doing at that time." Officer asks, "Didn't grandmother doubt on you?" Jeff replies, "She did had a lot of doubts about me." The next scene shows Jeff's grandmother's doubts on him. Grandmother used to see men coming with Jeff every day. He only killed 3 of them in that home. Jeff used to kill only those people whom he feels like having sex with. Grandmother never asks about the men Jeff brings to home. The doubt grandmother did have was whether Jeff was gay. After a while, the foul smell of dead body started coming again. Grandmother asks Jeff about it, and Jeff says, "I checked there and saw rats dead inside the sinkhole. I can't take it from there. Don't worry, the smell won't stay for long." Grandmother is in disbelief because she knows that all that Jeff does is lying. Grandmother calls Lionel to come there. Lionel searches the basement with Jeff and asks, "Why it is so stinky all over here, Jeff? Didn't we used to dissect animals?" "I do that here. The smell could be that. Nothing else," says Jeff. Lionel notices a room all locked up there. Lionel asks the key for it. Jeff replies, "I forgot the key at workplace." Lionel says, "You have to open it at any cost, or else I'll stab now and open it." Jeff searches his pockets and says, I'll check whether the keys are with me. Jeff finds the key, and Lionel opens the door. In the room, Lionel notices the sinkhole having a lot of blood clotted all inside it. Lionel goes and takes a look at it, and finds the source of the smell is from that sinkhole. Jeff, what did you put inside this? Asked Lionel. Jeff replies, didn't I tell you that I dissect animals here? I puts the body parts here. I didn't know it'll stink. I'm sorry, Dad. Lionel leaves saying to Jeff that, clean up all this quickly. In the next scene, the FBI officers are shown asking, did you stop your activities in that home after that incident? Jeff replies, after that incident, I stopped everything for a while, but again after some days, I started feeling doing things again. Jeff starts explaining everything he did after that. One night, after the party at pub, a person is seen getting into his car to go back home. His name was Rono. He tries to start his car many times, but eventually fails. Jeff comes that way and says, hey bro, what happened? Isn't your car starting? Rono says, don't know, doesn't seem like starting. Battery got drained, I guess. Jeff says, I have a car at my home. I can bring my car and you can charge from it. Rono says, no thanks, I don't want to trouble you. Jeff says, that's not at all a problem. Leave the car here. Let's go to my home. I'll take my car from my home. Did you see that turning over there? My home is after that. Jeff forces Rono to go with him. They reaches Jeff's home. Jeff goes to his room saying, I'll go and look for my keys. Rono feels tensed. Jeff, can you come fast with the keys? I have some job to do tomorrow early morning. I can't miss that, says Rono. Jeff says, I'm still searching. You came to my home for the first time. I'll bring you something to drink. When Jeff forces too much, Rono asks for a coffee only. Meanwhile, grandmother was lying in her room. Grandmother wakes up hearing the sound outside. She asks Jeff, who are you talking to? Jeff and Rono were having their coffee. Jeff says, grandmother, I have a friend here. I'm talking to him. They finishes drinking their coffee. And Rono says, let's go Jeff. But just after 2 steps Rono feels dizzy and goes to fall. Jeff carries Ron to the sofa nearby. It's obvious that Jeff mixed the drug in Rono's coffee. Suddenly grandmother comes and asks, what happened to him, Jeff? Jeff says, he drank a lot today. Nothing else. Go and have some sleep, Grandma. Grandmother says, got unconscious. Take him to the hospital, Jeff. Jeff says, hospital? What are you even saying? He's okay. Didn't I tell you he drank too much? He'll be alright once he wakes up. But grandmother doesn't want to leave Rono with Jeff, as she already had the doubt that Jeff is gay and might have sex with Ron. They starts quarreling with each other, and grandmother goes and sits in the sofa near Rono, saying that, I won't leave Rono until he wakes up. Jeff becomes angry on grandmother and says, then do whatever you want. Then Jeff goes to his room remaining angry on grandmother, because his plans to have sex with Rono didn't work out. The next day, Ron wakes up with still the hangover of that drug. Then grandmother accompanies Rono till the bus stop and sends him away in the first bus itself. After that, Rono is seen lying in a hospital in the next scene. Some people took him to the hospital because of the hangover of that drug. Rono comes to his consciousness after some time and asks a nurse about what happened to him. The nurse says, you drank too much and got unconscious. Rono says, no I didn't. I met someone yesterday. He might have drugged me. Nurse leaves saying, you should inform all this to the police. Rono is sitting in the police station in the next scene. He went to complain about Jeff to the police. He tells his issue to a cop there. The police officer asks, are you sure he drugged you? Rono replies, yes sir, I'm sure about that. He drugged my coffee. I took this more seriously, because I've heard about a guy who drugged men and used them at a bathhouse I used to go. I have a doubt that this is that guy. Police asks, so are you claiming that he tried to kill you? Rono replies, yes sir, he was definitely trying to kill me. The doctor at the hospital even said that I would have died if I came there a bit late. The police says, alright, I'll investigate this. The police then goes to Jeff's home and asks Jeff and his grandmother about Rono. Police asks Jeff, why did you bring Rono to your home? Jeff replies, he was drunk too much. I brought him to my home because I didn't want him to fall somewhere. Police asks further, okay, did you drug his coffee? Jeff says, a drug? I haven't even seen a single drug in my entire life. He would be lying. Police asks again, did something else happen that day? Jeff replies, nothing else happened. That drunk guy came to my home. He slept on my sofa, and my grandmother even sat with him the whole time, until he woke up the next morning and went on a bus. As Jeff explained everything perfectly, the police believed him and leaves from there. The next day, police explains Rono everything that happened at Jeff's house. Both of you are telling 2 different stories. They said that you were drunk too much, and also we didn't feel anything suspicious about him from what he said the police officer. Rono says, why can't we search his home? I'm damn sure that there will be drugs somewhere in his home. Police says, Rono, you have to understand the fact that we can't go search his home randomly without any evidence. We have to go through a lot of procedures to do that. Rono becomes angry and leaves saying that, you and your stupid rules and regulations. That night, Rono goes to the pub and on his way he comes to see Jeff. A boy was entering Jeff's car. Rono goes and tells the boy, hey, don't go with him. He will kill you. I barely got saved from him the last day. If you want to stay alive, go run. The boy got scared and ran off looking at Jeff. Jeff came out of the car angry, and both of them stood face to face. Jeff was furious enough to kill Rono right away, but he gets back into the car doing nothing and leaves. The grandmother waking up hearing some sounds outside the home is the next scene. When grandmother looks through the window to know what's going on outside, she sees a Japanese boy going out from their house. Jeff could be seen just beside that boy. It is evident from the boy's body language that he is drugged by Jeff. The boy couldn't walk properly. After he went, Jeff goes to grandmother's room and sees her watching looking outside. Jeff didn't care much about that and went back to his room. When that Japanese boy reaches back his home, his father asks him, where were you till this time? Why are you this late? But the boy was unable to comprehend what his father was saying to him, because he was only half conscious. He goes to his room and lies on his bed. Seeing this, the father understood that something had happened to his son. The father quickly goes to call an ambulance. Jeff working in the chocolate company is the next scene. Suddenly 2 police officers approaches and arrests him. That Japanese boy's family complained about Jeff to the police. Once the boy woke up and came to his complete consciousness, he told about everything happened to him. Jeff standing in the court is the next scene. After detailed examination, the court's final judgment came. As the defendant has done male sexual harassment, the court sentenced 1 year of imprisonment and penalty, and along with that, the court wanted the defendant to report at the jail within 48 hours. As Jeff had only 48 hours left before going to jail, he decided to spend that time with his family. Jeff and his family is seen sitting in grandmother's home. Lionel says, before you go to jail, pack your things. Once you gets out from the jail, don't try to come back here. We are fed up of you. Jeff says, but Dad, I didn't do anything to that boy. I only took his photos. Please believe me. But Lionel had already decided to not believe him at all. Lionel asks, didn't your grandmother give you a box which had my photos in it? Where's that? Jeff replies, I have that with me. Why do you need that now? Lionel says, give that back to your grandmother. You should only take your own belongings with you. When Jeff goes to take that box, Lionel accompanies him. Then Jeff shows the box to Lionel. Lionel asks Jeff to open the box. Jeff was reluctant to open it and lies that, Dad, I lost its key. As we all know, the box contained Tuomi's head in it, which if Lionel sees now, will definitely kill Jeff. Lionel understood that Jeff is lying. Lionel goes to the kitchen for a knife saying, it's okay if you don't have the keys. I'm going to stab it and open. Jeff quickly goes and puts the head inside it somewhere else. When Lionel came back with the knife, Jeff gives him the key. Jeff said, don't have to stab and open it. I got the keys. When Lionel opens the box, he got surprised as he finds porn magazines with naked women's pictures in it. Lionel apologizes saying that, I'm sorry son, I thought you kept something else in this box. And then Lionel leaves. A year passed. Jeff got released from the prison. Lionel was sitting outside to take him. When Jeff approaches, Lionel asks Jeff about his life inside, and then they leaves from there. Jeff living in a new apartment is the next scene. Police arrested him in that apartment. Jeff sees a boy outside his apartment. He goes and talks to him. He then takes that boy to his apartment. The episode ends here showing that, even after Jeff spent 1 year in the jail because of his deeds, he haven't changed a bit. Let's meet again soon with the next episode.